24 years old.
And I'm about 23 years old.
We are labor workers in an old brick factory. Both of us had been working here for 1 year.
But the problem is our health can handle such labor work, and the living condition is a drawback.
So we decide to go on a journey to Sicily to seek for asylum and also a better life.
We chose to pass through Chad since direct path across Egypt was impossible due to the mass amount of desert. We chose to move through Chad also because of the large lake, which means we can find villages and food sources in that place.
We settled down in Chad for a while, but decide to get going on our journey so we can soon reach our destination.
We got our way from Chad to Niger by walking, as well as hitchhiking on cars and passengers.
Since our previous journey was very long, so we chose to stay at Niger for a few months. We got ourselves a small house at the end of the village. We made money out of a few things we brought with us, as well as working for a small farm. We saved up a bit of money to support us while we settled down in Niger.
Our life was pretty great. We even decided to live in this country forever. However, one day a group of terrorists broke into our country and started their genocide.
Abark and I were running away from the terrorists one day. I got myself under cover, but Abark was captured. I was panicking and crying so much. Afterward, a few days trying to escape, I got into a rescue station. I was asking everyone where Abark was, but at last what I received was her body, deformed. I really don't know what to do now. Should I stay at the rescue camp or try to get my way to the dream place at last? I know it's going to be real challenging, but my life would totally change when I reach Sicily. I rushed my way to Libya by sneaking on trucks, train, as well as asking people for rides. My main resource of food were roast beans and stewed beans. The trip seemed to last forever, that I lose track of time. One afternoon, I was informed that I've reached Libya. A man approached me from behind and took me by my arms. He dragged me a long way to a sanctuary. I'm not sure who he was and why no one was stopping him. I was captured and placed into a jail without any explanation. In jail, I met a man who was later my husband. I spent about a year in jail where I gave birth to my baby boy, Assam. A jail guard later killed my husband since he rejected to follow instructions. After more than a year in jail, I was released along with Assam. We ran away as fast and as far as possible. I paid a man to smuggle me and my son to a boat so we can get to Sicily. On the boat trip, my son was having an uncomfortable time and he wouldn't stop crying. I was totally out of energy, so I couldn't move much. One day, some people on the boat took my son and threw him into the ocean because they believed he had an infection and was afraid it would spread further on. I wasn't able to do anything because they knocked me out. I was facing a hard time, but luckily, a woman supported me through my way. She took care of me physically, emotionally, and mentally. I reached to my destination after 5 months. Everyone on the boat was sent to the refugee camp. I was provided with water and little biscuit for instant energy. We stayed at the refugee camp for a week, then moved to a small house near the city. I was having a hard time communicating with others, but luckily they provided me translators and an English teacher. I got a job as a cashier in a supermarket at the city center. My life was pretty much good from there. I can still never forget my dear man and son, but I got to move on with my life.